Hey everyone, welcome back to Move Me to Pittsburgh, the show where we break down Pittsburgh real estate, local stories, and the conversations shaping around the city.
We're your hosts, David and Cassie. Whether you're tuning in for market insight, neighborhood talk, or just a fresh take on what's going on around Pittsburgh, we're glad you're here.
Each week we dive into the trends we're seeing, the headlines catching our attention, and the things buyers, sellers, and locals are talking about.
Yeah. We got a great episode lined up. Let's settle in.
Awesome. This week we have Greg with us. He is the director of Pittsburgh Sports League.
Yes.
Welcome,
Hello.
Greg.
Hello.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for being on with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, today we want to talk about something that actually matters way more than people realize. We want to talk about adult friendships. We're talking about community. We're talking about why in a world where everyone is online, isolated, scrolling, that fields across Pittsburgh are full on the week.
Yeah. We have a hand in that, I think.
Yeah,
Big
definitely.
one. So this PSL, I mean Cassie, that's how I actually met Cassie.
Yep.
We joined a kickball league. I think it was just Tuesdays, right, Cassie?
Yeah, well, we
Was the one that
so
we
we had
joined.
actually met at Kickball for a Cause. We were thrown on a team together, and then we started one on one of the weeknights, and here we are. Now we're working together.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's been 5
So
years.
I
It's a
think
long
so.
time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. So,
But
Greg, tell us, what is the Pittsburgh Sports League?
Yeah, so Pittsburgh Sports League, PSL, is a program of a nonprofit. The nonprofit's name is Pump, and it serves young professionals, young-minded people across the city of Pittsburgh in a number of ways. Pump's roots were founded in retention, right? There was people that were going to school in Pittsburgh, growing up in Pittsburgh, and they were leaving because there wasn't jobs, there wasn't things to do. And so Pump really started as a way to, Pump was originally named the Pittsburgh Urban Magnet Project. So the magnet piece come from bringing folks back into the region. And on analysis at the time, there was no adult recreational sports leagues available. And so in the fall of 2001, a flag football league was started. And 25 years later, we're still going strong and doing a great service for the city. So, there are many other sport and social clubs around the country. There's other adult recreational sports leagues in the city. But PSL is unique in the sense of, one, we're part of a nonprofit, but the mission of the organization, or even the reason why PSL exists, isn't as much for the competitive nature, of the sport. While there's a place for those folks who want to come and compete and win. We love to have them as well. But we have a kind of a buzz saying that it's more than an opportunity to run up around the bases when you play in PSL. Because, you're going to parts of town you've never been to before, right? So you just get assigned a field. And so you go play at a part of the city, and then you maybe go to a bar or restaurant before or after your games that you've never been to before. You meet new people, you establish connections. You really help put down roots. You network, get jobs, all of those things. Significant others have come out of the PSL. And that's really like how we measure success, right? I mean, obviously there's a number side of it, but really like the impact on the community. We're community-based programming, and all of our fields are in the city, right? So we're giving back to the city in that way. And we've even started some new programming around engaging with individuals, right? So we're like, our leagues they're our bread and butter, but they're mainly team-based kind of programming, where we now have these one-off events, pickup games, whether it's learn to do something. We've learned to play squash, learn to play pickleball, learn to play curling. We have those for the things that we're not yeah, right. So that we're not experts in those fields, but we partner with the local organizations that are, right, and offer that to our membership. And then we get these, really coming out of COVID, we realized that people they're less committed to 6, 8, 9 week seasons, right? They want to do something new. They want to go on to the next thing. And so, we're really doing a good job with these pickup nights where you can just go play volleyball one night, then you maybe meet some new people. You may get on a team, there's definitely benefits to that, but just an outlet, a one-off. We've done esports, we've done dodgeball. There's nothing we haven't really done there. So, offering our leagues, year round. Outdoor sports are 3 seasons long. Indoor sports can be 4 or 5, depending on the location or the sport and the length of the season. But we're growing. We're a growing program, and people are just really looking for ways to stay engaged, to stay active, and we're fortunate enough to have an outlet to provide that to the city.
Beautiful. About how many sports are being ran right now?
We have 11 that are like constant league sports. And then you'll see more sports. Like at the end of the year, we'll probably have offered like 15 to 17 sports on a given year. Cause like we have a golf outing. So like we have the opportunity to golf. It's just in a 1-day event, where similar with curling. We have curling come up this year because it's a hot topic with the Olympics now. And
Absolutely.
yeah, USA is doing great. So that's great for the curling folks out there. And we tie right into it. And so, excited about that. And then, squash is a new one we're trying this year, and things like that. But 11 solid sports year round.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do you find that one is more popular than another?
So softball has always been our biggest sport, with kickball right behind it. But there's been a changing of the guard. Volleyball is now a top sport for us. I don't know if credit goes to Pitt women's volleyball,
True.
Penn State women even, but the region has experienced some success in volleyball. But going back to COVID again, that was like the first sport folks were comfortable coming back in. Right, they were in smaller groups,
right,
different sides of the court, different precautions there. So it's really just taken off from there. We're up. We had a year ago this time, we had 68 volleyball teams. We have 119 now. So it's our fastest growing sport. It's now that we play that 4 or 5 seasons a year, it's become our largest sport. From a team perspective, the team numbers wise, volleyball probably still, or softball probably still beats it because the rosters are a bit bigger. But it's volleyball. I didn't see that one coming, but
I actually play volleyball Thursday nights right now. So
there you go.
It's fun. Nice. It's my off season, since I mostly do kickball.
Great.
But so my experience, I really can only speak for kickball. That's the one I've done the most. For the last couple of years, I've done it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. Wow. I'm at both Dilworth and Bloomfield, so I get different perspectives, and it's huge.
Yeah,
like I said, I met my business partner that way. I met my fiance that way. A lot of my friends. So it's
great. That's
amazing.
That's the success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Greg, why do you think people are showing up to join these leagues?
I think there's a couple of reasons, right? A lot of it, one of the main ones is they're new to the city, right? There's not a day that goes by we don't get an email from someone. It's like, hey, I'm new, or they sign up for one of our leagues as a free agent, and it's just like, just move to Pittsburgh. I played this in another. It's what they're familiar with, right? Their comfort zone is said sport, right? And they're just looking to get out there and meet new people. I think it's a stress reliever as well, right? That's never lost on it, whether that's the actual physical activity where you're relieving stress, or the gathering with friends and having some laughs. But I think, there's just, life's not easy, right? So, if there's an outlet, to where you can go blow off some steam, I think that's another reason people are showing up. And then just, it's fun, we like to not take it too serious. There are folks that take it too serious, and there's a place for them as well. We won't turn away anybody, but it's just a great overall experience, and that is what we try and provide. At least the outlet to have that experience, and then people would take it upon themselves. And every team, every league is different. Some teams go. They're making their own shirts, or they have their own, group chats and, different things like that. And, we love all that too, that extends, and we see or get invited to, end of year parties and different things for certain teams. And, we love to hear that and see that. So, that's a big thing that happens as well.
Yeah. I saw Some kickball teams were even like finding sponsors, like local bars. I think Froggies did somebody on a Monday night, and like somebody else was sponsored by one. So they had shirts made that had like the Froggies logo on it, and then they put their little names on the back and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's
Yep.
pretty cool. Dave, sponsor one. You can sponsor one of mine
Yeah, I
too.
like that.
Yeah,
That's
right.
cool. There was actually, to jump onto that topic, I was listening to another episode that you were in, Greg. What was it about, like a business spotlight?
So we have a couple of different things. We do community partner highlights with others, community partners that we're doing events with or partnering with on different things around the city. We have Pump is a membership organization, so you need to be a member of Pump or to have access to PSL. That's one of the member benefits. We've really grown that program over the last 12, 14 months. Whether it's discounts to the Cultural Trust or UFC gyms, bars, restaurants, Duquesne University. It's a portfolio that's growing. So there's different partners there that plug in for what we do. And then we have a hometown hotspots program. So that's bars and restaurants that are strategically located near or around the facilities and fields that we play at, where they'll offer PSL specific specials. So if you go in before or after your game, you're able to get a buck off your beer or wings for 50 cents cheaper or something like that. And it's they're going out anyway. So if we can be a good partner and direct them to a certain place, we're happy to do that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really neat to because after the games and before the games of the league that I was in, it was before we would go somewhere, and then after we were walking down the street to go. So it's
all matching our little colored shirts.
Yeah.
I
know.
I think. Yeah, like I said, I play at Bloomfield a couple nights a week, so I know Froggies is one of the big places that people go. And there's always people in there like, what do these shirts mean? Like, what are these? Like, it's really getting it out there. And I love that, even some of the bartenders are like, we love when kickball season's around because we get really busy, like you bring a lot of people in. So no, it's amazing seeing how much of a difference it has made.
Yeah. Every single time I'm in Bingham Tavern, there's at least 5 or 6 shirts on.
I mean, the shirt is, the organization did a rebrand a handful of years ago now. And when the company that was helping us with it, that was doing their market research, the number one item on the top of the list was do not touch the PSL logo, do not touch the PSL name. Like, it has such strong brand awareness, and you see the shirts everywhere. And that's what, whether we're having conversations with UPMC or somebody else, it's like, yeah, I see those shirts. How do I get on those shirts? Or, we have a conversation about those shirts. So, they're everywhere. And this year is our 25th anniversary. So we got change the logo slightly for anniversary purposes, but they'll be the ones you see. They'll change up the color schemes and everything else this year. So you'll see them rare shirts out and about this summer.
I have one for volleyball. They're nice. We do like new colors too. So we love that you guys have been switching things around. And,
Greg, what's your story? How did you end up getting linked up with this group?
It's let's see. So I started at Slip Rock University as a sport management major, and I transferred and graduated from Robert Morris University, sport management. After college, I got a job as athletic director at the Pittsburgh Athletic Association down in University of Pittsburgh. It was right at the time, I think it's like 2008. So it was right at the time that your LA Fitnesses and things were starting to pop up, around the city. And so the PAA was a private club with private amenities, and you were starting to see some of those private amenities show up in, like I said, LA Fitnesses of the world. But there was a fitness center and a gym and pool and all locker rooms. All that had basketball courts, and the Pittsburgh Sports League rented basketball time. We're in the courts from me at the PAA. So I had known the director at the time, Becky, working with her, just renting gym time. I got laid off from there, like a lot of America got laid off in 2008, and bounced around for a couple of years, and then the Pittsburgh Sports League I saw was hiring for an assistant director. And so I reached out, applied with familiarity with Pittsburgh Sports League. I interviewed and was lucky enough to be selected. And Becky had left a year later. And so within a year's time, I became the director. And I got hired in June 2010. So 16 years later, here I am.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I like to say I've seen it all, but
Keep surprising you.
Yep. Every year something new.
What do you think keeps you around 16 years?
Like sports has been like what I love, right? And it's, I remember my first sport management class was like, the professor said to us, like, not everybody's going to go work for the Steelers. You're not going to, if that's your dream, none of you might, but if that's your dream, like to be, the general manager of the Steelers, like I wouldn't start here. Right. And so, but all these years later, I look back and that conversation of like what I wanted to do, and like doing this for a living is like, it's not a job to me, right? It's like, I just love doing this. I love who I work with. I love the organization I work for. And then the added bonus, which I've come to love even more, is the impact we have, right? So, the thank yous we get is, or the stories like this, met my significant other, or, whatever it may be. It's just really a cool place or cool impact on the city. I love the city. I love sports, and it brings people together. And so it's kind of like a trifecta for me. And it's really not something, I don't know what else I would do, right? If I had to sit down and put a resume together and like look for something else, I don't know. I'm not sure what that would be, because this is just like, it's just like the perfect job for me. And, I've been very supportive. I've had support from the organization and the board, and, we're continuing to grow, and all of those things excite me. And, I look forward to the next 15.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah,
Was there at any point that you realized that it's no longer just a job?
In what sense? No longer just a job? The impact's greater?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, when I finally probably got my head up from underwater, right? Like when I took over, and then I was just on a day-to-day, we were just trying to get by, right? It was like the most important thing in front of me was getting that night's games off. Right. And then, so, we had a new CEO was hired, and like in my third year, real business savvy guy, Brian McGee was his name, and he taught me a lot about how to run the business, and the program in a business like sense, and was able to get some more resources on board. Hired Kai, she's been with me for 14 years now, so she's her getting to work alongside of her. And then we added another staffer. And so like once it was kind of able to come up and take a breath and like really look at the program. And, at the time there was just chasing numbers originally, right? It was like, how many more leagues can we have? How many more people can we have? And then it was like, I got to take that step back and just talk to more people and heard more stories, and was like, hey, we're doing something more here. This isn't just softball and kickball. And that's really when it changed for me. That was like, okay, this is really, really cool. Like, this is a fun thing I'm doing. And now it's just like a really cool thing on top of that.
It has a great impact. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm sure a ton of stuff goes on behind the scenes. We really just see, we go out and play. Like we see, what you do to get us the fields. You get the umps, you run all of that. But what does like a normal day look like behind the scenes for you guys running this?
It's a lot of like customer service, right? So it's a lot of just interacting with folks, whether they have questions about the leagues, or it's because it's cyclical, right? So there's, when we're in the middle of a season now. So we got the winter season kicked off, but now we're engaging with folks that are going to start playing in the spring. And so once they're in a certain set of ways, before their leagues kick off, we'll deal with the playoffs and, things like that of the current leagues, and sunsetting those leagues before we kicked off the new one. So, a day is, it was actually a struggle trying to figure out how to work remotely. And, because we just like shared a brain. We sat across the desk from each other, and, any issues popped up, we talked it out, or questions or anything like that. So it took us a while after COVID to figure out how to work, in a more remote environment. Our games take place in the evenings. So there's, there's availability needed there. But it's a good combination of staying on top of email and answering questions about what's going on. There's probably always conversations about planning of some sorts, whether it's the next event, the next league, the next tournament. We have our, had mentioned earlier, Kickball for a Cause tournament. That's the second week in August. It's our biggest event. We had, conversations around that last week. So, there's a lot of planning that goes on. And then there's, starting in March, every day we'll hit the ground, get boots on the ground at every field to make sure that they're playable. Mother Nature does us no shortages of of favors, letting us know every day that it's going to rain at 4:00. But when that isn't the case, we're out there doing that, and then some evenings are just checking in on officials or other staff making social media content or whatever it is. So it's hard to really nail down a typical day, but it's just a mix of like a lot of those things that just go into it. And it's one of the things that you talk about the job and why I've been around and that it's no 2 days are the same. So,
right.
I kind of like that about it. I may some days look at my to-do list and be frustrated because I didn't get to anything on it, but whatever way the wind wants to blow that day, it's always a new story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You mentioned like being in the middle of a season, but that spring season is about to start. I know there's a lot of people who want to start something new, want to join a sport. What can they do if they don't know anybody yet and have a team? How can they get out there?
Yeah, so there's two different options right now, and they can sign up as a free agent for any league that they're interested in, and we encourage them to sign up just to get in the door, right? Get on our communications and get in these leagues. And there's a lot of organic captains, just captains of each team have the if they're filling out their rosters, have the ability to go in and message somebody and grab them on their team. But then these pickup nights that we've had, that we've rolling out, we'll have a full schedule of April pickup nights. But it's just a one-off event that gets you out there and gets you meeting people. And that's probably the best way. I think we've made numerous individual teams or free agent teams based off of people who've met, on those given nights. So, we'll do some things like that, where we talked this week specifically about like a flag football event where we would have like flag football captains go out and basically pick up with new people, right? So they're just like, hey, that's a way for them to recruit too. So we're looking at some of those things, but just getting involved anywhere you can. We can't guarantee any free agents get picked up, but we do our best. We've created a record number of free agent teams recently, and because the influx is there, right? And then, like I said, these pickup nights is really for those folks, right? It's really for the ones that are just looking to get out and do something, try something. Yeah. You may have some volleyball skills you've never tapped before, so who knows?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay, so they have the free agent option that they would go to the website, they would create an account, pay their dues, they become a member, then choose their sport, and then what's that look like?
Their night, they could pick the night, they could pick the league, they could pick the sport. So, and they can sign up for as many as they want. There's no limit there, because you can always decline a spot if you get offered. But the more you put yourself out there, the better the odds you are. The more availability you have. That's not to say if you're only available Monday nights, you might not be able to get picked up on a Monday night. But that's the way to get involved in league play. And then organically or through some of these other programs, can build teams or experience, and can get entry onto a team that way as well.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like the cheat code to meeting new friends.
Yeah. It works. It really does. I mean, it was one thing to sit here and say, working for the organization that it works, but can go through again years of stories and connections that have been made that all happen through our programming, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I moved to Pittsburgh in 2019, and I didn't know anybody. So I was just trying to put myself out there, meet some friends. And I went to brunch one day with someone that said, can I bring someone else along? They did. And then the girl was just like, hey, we're always looking for a girl for kickball. Like, I'm telling you, like, it's a great way to meet people. So I tried it. And I mean, here I am playing 4 nights a week now. So it's, it
See,
is,
you
it
didn't
is
know you
great.
had
And
those. You didn't have that
right?
kickball skills,
Like I said,
right?
I got a career now through it. I got a fiance through it. I got, a lot of friends. It's helping me grow the business even. So
Awesome.
it's amazing. Amazing thing.
Fantastic.
Greg, in your
Yeah.
opinion, what do you think's the least intimidating sport to jump it right into?
It's something like kickball, right? Because you don't need equipment. You
Yeah.
probably played it growing up. It's a very inclusive sport. Where something like a volleyball, there's different skill levels, so that may be a little bit intimidating. If you've never played before, softball, you need to have a glove or spikes, or and you got to, or some team has a bat, so there can be things like that. But then other ones, bowling, we get a lot of folks that come in. Bowling is an easy one. Everybody probably bowled at some point in time. You don't got to be fantastic at it. That's what handicaps are for. So yeah, I'd say something like that. Any of the a cornhole, is just a fun, a way to get out and meet people, and people are more comfortable in that type of environment too, rather than going out to some field randomly and being with people there. So kickball is probably one of the ones that fosters that environment the most.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's perfect.
When a neighborhood gets like a field upgrade or a grant from the city, do you see that specific area get an increase of applicants?
Potentially, there's not a ton of availability in the city as far as fields go. We've kind of nestled into these same kind of fields over the last few years, and it's served us well in the sense that we're playing. We have equipment bins there. It's our same folks there night after night. So there's like definitely advantages to that, but the disadvantage there is there are some folks that people in Pittsburgh don't like to cross bridges, right? And we love our bridges, but yet we won't cross them. So, it's like, hey, is there anywhere to play, on this side of town? It's like, not right now, and so, we're constantly having those conversations behind the scenes with the city. There's the, new administration now, that we'll be hopefully engaging with soon and talking with them about our programming and how we can be a good partner for the city. And, we tend to try and do those things as well as, as far as like upgrades and that, like we have our service projects that we'll do, just to show, because we are in these neighborhoods 4 nights a week, right? And it's like, hey, sorry that someone may have blocked your driveway on accident, or the lights are on until 10:30 last night, but we are doing our part too and chipping in and cleaning up around the area. And so we try and be good, again, good community partners in that sense too. But there hasn't been a ton of like capital projects that have been directly impacted some of the places that we've played or anything like that. That's not to say some won't come, but if a new facility were to open or something like that, I can see that being a place where like there's an uptick in interest in that area.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Very nice. Okay. So I know PSL, I believe, has won some like awards in the past. I think I've seen. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
Yeah. So the PSL is a member of what's called the Sport and Social Industry Association, the SSIA. It's a national association of basically PSLs across the country. There's like north of 60 members of this association, and like we all do the same things, but just do it a little bit differently, right? So you only do so many different things around a softball league, but the wheres and the hows and the whys, kind of or what's different. And so, as a part of that, we have a yearly conference. It's for us, it's actually next week. And, we have an awards, right? So within our industry, we like to recognize what our peers are doing, right? And so there's, an internal nomination process, that's, that either people can nominate themselves or people can see if you see a really cool event happening, because we're tapped into, we've become friendly with a lot of folks in the industry, and, we're constantly going and seeing what they have going on. And so one of the awards every year is like a customer service satisfaction. So every year we send out a survey that's made through the SSIA. It's on their behalf, and they send it out to the industry, and each club sends it out to their membership to get feedback on, get a net promoter score, right? Of, would they recommend your leagues to other folks? And last year, PSL won our category. We're in like the tier 2 category. So 2,000 teams to 5,000 teams, I think, is the category. And so it was a surprise to us, but there's some heavy hitters in that category, that do a lot of really good work. And so we won that award last year, which we were very humbled by. It's people love what we do. We work hard, and to get that recognition in front of your peers it was a special day. Additionally, there's a program called Pump to Run that the PSL has as well, where we do walks and runs from different shelters around the city, a veterans place, men's shelter, women's shelter, and a philanthropy award was for diversity and equity inclusion. Pump to Run won last year as well. So it was great to get, that program elevated on the national level as well. And so, it was a really good experience last year at the conference, getting on a stage and, being able to probably say like, hey, this is, Pittsburgh likes us, right? they think we do good. We love them, and they love us back. So it
well
was great.
deserved.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, thank you. And so
Amazing.
We'll see what happens next week. Very, very happy with being the recipients of that.
Good.
Oh, that's exciting.
Look forward to finding out what happens.
Yeah.
Now, the first one you mentioned, it was 2000. What was it? 2000 what?
The first league?
The first award?
Oh, this was last year that we won the first award. That was the first time we were first time winners last year.
And it was applicants or teams. How was it?
So it was we sent the survey out to everybody that participated in PSL, and they filled it out and they gave us a score, and it formulates into a net promoter score, which is essentially like how much would someone refer your team or your league to somebody else, right? So if someone's looking to play sports in the city of Pittsburgh, how would they recommend the PSL or not? Yeah. And so that net promoter score is the ranking for that award, and we had the top in our tier.
Got it. How many people are involved in PSL?
In PSL, so non-unique, the membership's approaching 6,000 members of the organization, but that number is more than double across all of our programming. Like something like Kickball for a Cause is like 600 people, right, in a day. So if you take non-unique, it's 15, 16, plus 1,000 people that are engaging with us throughout the year through everything that we do.
Wow.
Amazing.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Massive.
Pretty big.
Massive.
For a small and mighty city, it's a
Right?
pretty
It's
big
a huge
program.
part of it. Yeah.
That's wild.
I love
Yeah.
it.
So we've already talked about the commerce that after these games where the people are going. This is huge. This is big.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how big this is.
Yeah, it's sometimes the folks in it don't realize how big it is, because sometimes they'll just ask us questions about, or like, why didn't we do something specific? And it's like, because we have to do that across the board, and that means we got to do it 10, 20 times over sometimes, depending on what's going on. It was like we're talking today, and we had 6 volleyball leagues going last night alone, right? So like across the city, in a numbers game, there's, in this summer, there'll be a night on a Thursday in the summer where we'll have thousands of people participating in PSL activities at 7:00, right? So it's like, sometimes like think about that and put that in perspective is pretty wild.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess you just kind of think about the field you're at, what you're doing, but
right.
you got
that's
many different sports going on, and
right. Absolutely.
Amazing.
I think I see behind you. Is it Homestead?
Yes, that is. That's the waterfront. Yep. Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
where I'm born and raised. Homestead.
Okay.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
I went to Stowe Valley High School and met my wife after college, and we moved to West Mifflin. So we're a little bit farther, another mile down the road from my parents, from the house I grew up in. But yep, Homestead is home.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh has always been a big part of your life.
Yep, always.
Such a what's the term, revitalization effort there, huh?
Yeah,
it was crazy there. Are there any fields or any leagues out that direction?
Yeah, we play volleyball at the Carnegie Library of Homestead. So we were right here in my backyard, playing there. We've done a couple of one-off events at Westfield up here in Homestead as well. So yeah, that's we had an end of year party at Dave and Buster's, the waterfront.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some additional
Oh.
programming over there. Yeah, we got to keep them competing, right? You know, when the sun sets on the leagues, you know, we got to throw a party with more competition.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone gets that itch on that off
Right.
season and everything.
Right. Exactly.
Now I did hear there's a shortage of refs and other things like that. How would somebody go about if they wanted to volunteer for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are constantly trying to grow our network of referees. We're actually hopefully hiring here soon for an officials manager, right? So dedicated resources to that, because without having a solid base of referees, you know, it's going to be very tough to run our programming. And if we have any aspirations of growing, you know, that's a big foundational piece that we need to have. And so there is a shortage, and it's not just us, like it's across the country. You know, again, talking about like the conference and the SSIA, you know, we constantly have those conversations about like how are people recruiting new officials, you know, where, you know, how do you retain them, different things like that, because it's a difficult situation to be in. But you know, taking that weakness and looking as an opportunity, right? So going to hopefully be able to hire somebody to come in and really build up, because it's not, you know, they're all independent contractors, right? So there's no experience necessary to hire. We have there's an application right on our website that just basically gives some background of what sports you're interested in and what your experience is like with them. But the hope is that we'll be able to bring them in, train them, you know, get them out shadowing, so they kind of see and familiar with what we have going on before we're able to plug them in and get them playing, or get them refereeing. But, you know, they're our eyes and ears most often, you know, out there every night. And so, you know, you can talk about things that like keep us going, you know, and what we love about the job is, you know, when teams will send us an email, it's like, hey, so-and-so is my official this season. Where are they officiating next season? Because that's where we're going to sign up, because we had a great time, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, like that's absolutely what we love to hear. And so it's like, you know, that takes a little bit, you know, making that position personable too, right? It like really takes off, like, we're here for more reasons, you know, again, keep going back to that. But, you know, this isn't some high stakes game, you know, where we want our officials to be perfect. We want them to be really good, and we want them to keep getting better. But they're, you know, they had a 9 to 5 most often, you know, and they're there because they can't play the sport anymore, or they just love being around the sport, or whatever it is. And so, you know, when they help build up that community as well, it's everything we could ask for.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know you said they kind of like shadow some of the ones, and I know I've seen some shadow the refs, but like, is there any other training that they have to go through, or?
Not right now, but again, that's why we're putting some
What you're
resources
working for?
behind us, because I think like that, I think will help build confidence with some folks, right? Or if they're hesitant to do it because they don't have that training, it's like, no, we'll bring you on board and we'll get you trained up, and we'll get your confidence level high to go out there and be able to conduct yourself. And then it's a win-win for everybody, right? I think it's a win for staff to have, you know, so the stress level brought down a bit. It's a win for the league, some you know, professionalism around the experience, and then it's a win for the person. They get more skills. You're making some extra income.
Absolutely.
You know, seems really good to me, but we'll see how the rollout goes.
Oh, sounds like a great idea.
Greg, just to do like a final quick little like a lightning round.
Okay.
Most underrated PSL sport.
Man, that's a tough one. Most underrated PSL sport. I don't have an answer for this one. I'll say cornhole.
Cornhole. I like it.
Good one.
There's a lot of we've got 3 leagues now of 20, and there's some good cornhole players.
Yeah, I know a couple.
Right. Yeah. So I'll say cornhole.
What's the hardest sport to manage?
The hardest sport to manage is probably softball. Softball, it's a big numbers game, right? There's a lot of teams, a lot of leagues. It's outdoors, so there's logistics that go on with that. Kickball is more flexible with like where they can play in the grass and things like that. So there's more logistics that go into softball. It's bang bang plays a lot, so like it's a higher intensity sport, a lot more competitive than some of the other sports. So I'll say softball.
Okay.
Best vibe neighborhood after a game.
Best vibe neighborhood. It's got to be Mount Washington.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. What kind of personality do you think makes a good captain?
A personality for a good captain is someone who's willing to herd cattle, right? So it's like
Yes.
they got to do the dirty work. It's a thankless job, right? You got to be
Yeah.
you got to be in it to just you're the organized one of the friend group, right? It's just you have to register in a highly competitive registering environment. Then you have to make sure people are paying and signing waivers and T-shirts are picked up, or your lineups are correct or whatever. So
are you coming to the game? Or are you not?
Right. Yes. Right. And we're hoping the new app we launched is
Yeah,
help
I like
all
it.
of
I like
that.
the new app
Yes.
so far.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're interested to see how that happens, but it's really focused on that. It's the community piece of that with the app. So it's a very captaincy is very unforgiving, but we love them and thankful for them.
Yeah. I did it a few times. Now I just like to be on the team.
Yes. Right.
What's one myth about PSL?
What's one myth about PSL? I think a myth about PSL is that people think that we're like all decisions are monetarily made, right? And we're after a profit. Like we're in this to make money, and not that we aren't, because we need to keep our program going. But there's nothing we do as a money grab, right? It's not. It's all as a nonprofit and in a program. The program's ran like a business, but the money that we generate through is going back into the program in one way or another, right? So I think that's a myth out there, is because it's we do our best to stay as affordable as possible, right? Like inclusion is behind a lot we do. There's just some things that cost a lot more money, and so we do our best and absorb the costs we can. But I think that's something out there that a lot of people don't understand. I think is we really do try, and it's not because we again we can stack ourselves up across the industry. We have that data, and we're just not we're not financially driven like some other organizations are, which are fine. They have their owners, and that's their prerogative. But we try and keep his costs as low as we can when we can.
Yeah, understood.
I think you're doing a great job with it all.
Try.
Yeah, I mean, we love it. It's not, like you said, it's not just sports. It's a connection. It's getting out of your apartment. It's meeting people. It's choosing to show up. It's in a time where a lot of people might feel isolated, it matters. It's giving them an outlet.
Yeah.
So, if someone's on the fence right now, what do you think you would tell them?
Just give it a shot, right? It's and if you don't, and I think I would tell them, yeah, obviously give it a shot. But if like your experience isn't what you had hoped it to be, let us know, right?
Yeah.
I think we do a really, really good job of listening. And oftentimes, people don't know that they can do that if they haven't been around, right? And I think if they just take that one time and reach out, that they'll know that we take everything. If it's an issue at a field, we take it seriously. If it's someone's experience, we can't guarantee anything for anybody. But that doesn't mean we won't try. If it's something that's fixable, we're only able to be so many places or do so many things, right? So the more information we can have. And so, if someone does have a negative experience, we'd want to hear about it just as much as we want to hear about the positive ones, because we can't help fix or change, that experience if we don't know. So I would encourage anybody on the fence to try it. And if it's not what they think it is, to let us know why it's not. And it may be like, well, no, that's actually what it is. Your understanding may be a little bit different, but if we can change that, we will.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Greg, if anybody wanted to get in contact with you, how could they do that?
Pump.org, www.pump.org is the website. You go to the Pittsburgh Sports League from there. and everybody's email is their name. So I'm greg@pump.org is my email address. But all the information for the rest of the staff is on there. We each, have our own lanes of expertise. So yeah, just go on the website.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the show notes as well, guys.
Great.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for this week's episode of Move Me to Pittsburgh.
Perfect.
Greg, especially, we want to thank you for spending time with us and all of our listeners.
Great, absolutely. I'm glad you reached out. This is fun. Like I said to you, Maima, it's my favorite subject to talk about. So I'm glad to do it.
It shows. You're doing a great thing.
Thank you. I'm glad to do it, and I hope we continue on for a long time. So
yes, we all
Love
do.
it. Thanks again.
Thank you
again, Greg. If you enjoyed this episode or you have any questions you want us to cover in the next episode, send them our way. We love hearing from our listeners.
Absolutely. If you think about buying, selling, or investing anywhere in Pittsburgh region, or even if you want to be like Greg and be a guest on our show, we're always here to help and just have a chat.
Thanks again for hanging out with us. See you guys.
See you next time. And